The Chelsea number 9 curse. The number 9 is one of the most iconic numbers in football, worn by some of the deadliest strikers in history, such as Ronaldo and Van Basten. However, for Chelsea, the number 9 shirt has carried a much darker legacy for many years. In the year 2000, Chelsea signed Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank from Atletico Madrid for a club record fee. Hasselbank immediately justified the hefty price tag, scoring 26 goals in his first season. His prolific form continued, with a total of 87 goals over 4 seasons. But after he departed the club, the curse began to take hold. In the 2004-05 season, Serbian striker Mateja Kezman inherited the number 9 shirt. Despite Chelsea winning their first league title in 50 years, he only managed 4 goals and was soon sold. Next came Hernan Crespo, who managed 13 goals and helped Chelsea retain the league title, but he was never able to fully settle in England and left after just 1 season. The following season saw the number 9 shirt worn by players who weren't even strikers, first a center back and then a midfielder. It wasn't until 2008 that the shirt returned to a forward, with Argentine Franco Di Santo taking it. However, Di Santo failed to score in 8 league appearances, and he was quickly sold to Wigan. After that, the shirt stayed vacant for 2 years. Then Chelsea signed Fernando Torres for a British record fee in 2011. Torres had been one of the most feared strikers during his time at Liverpool, even placing on the Ballon d'Or podium. But at Chelsea, he struggled to live up to expectations. Despite a memorable goal against Barcelona that secured Chelsea's Champions League final spot, Torres only managed 6 Premier League goals in his first full season. In 3.5 seasons at Chelsea, he scored just 20 league goals, and he eventually returned to Atletico Madrid. The curse seemed unbreakable. After Torres, the number 9 shirt was worn by Falcao, Morata and Higuain, but none of them left a lasting mark, all enduring disappointing spells at the club. Then in 2019, academy graduate Tammy Abraham was given the number 9 shirt. For a while, it seemed he might break the curse, scoring 15 Premier League goals that season, more than any other player in the shirt since Hasselbank. But the following season, his form dipped, and after struggling with injuries, Abraham was sold to Roma. Next came Romelu Lukaku, signed for a record £98 million. Despite his success at Inter, Lukaku's time at Chelsea was overshadowed by controversy. Midway through the season, he publicly criticized coach Thomas Tuchel and expressed his desire to return to Inter. After facing backlash from Chelsea fans, he apologized, but his form never matched the expectations. He finished his first season with just 8 Premier League goals in 26 appearances, leading many to call him the worst signing of the season. He too left the club after a disappointing short stint in London. The curse continued when Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, fresh from a successful brief spell at Barcelona, took the number 9 shirt. However, Aubameyang's time at Chelsea was similarly disappointing. He scored just 1 goal in 15 Premier League appearances and left after 1 season. Now the number 9 shirt at Chelsea remains vacant. With Nicholas Jackson finding form at Chelsea, it might be best for him to avoid the cursed number entirely. After all, that's the lesson from the past. The 7 Cath curse. Today, Boca Juniors and River Plate are the most famous clubs in Argentina, but back in the 1960s, Independiente reigned supreme. In 1964, they made history as the first Argentine team to win the Copa Libertadores. And they didn't stop there. They won it again the following year. Their victories earned them a shot at the Intercontinental Cup, where they faced European giants Inter Milan. But despite their best efforts, Independiente lost both finals. To make matters worse, in 1967, their arch-rivals Racing Club won the Copa Libertadores and went on to defeat Celtic, claiming the title of world champions. For Independiente fans, this was a bitter pill to swallow. Legend has it that, driven by anger and jealousy, some fans turned to dark measures. They sought the help of a witch doctor and buried 7 dead cats under Racing Club's home ground, hoping to curse their rivals. The so-called curse seemed to take hold immediately. That same year, Independiente crushed Racing 4-0 to secure the league title. But Racing's troubles didn't end there. They were only just beginning. Once a dominant force, Racing began a steady decline, transitioning from a championship contenders to relegation strugglers. By 1980, the club's fortunes had fallen so far that their coach ordered a search for the buried cats. 6 skeletons were uncovered, but the 7th cat remained elusive. The curse persisted, and just 3 years later, Racing were relegated. Although they managed to return to the top division in 2 years, their struggles continued. In 1998, desperate for a solution, Racing even called in the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism. But if the curse existed, it wasn't going anywhere. A year later, Racing declared bankruptcy and were on the brink of collapse. The club only survived thanks to the unwavering loyalty of its fans. By 2000, the club brought in a new coach, who happened to be deeply superstitious. Determined to lift the curse once and for all, he ordered another excavation, this time behind the goalposts. And finally, the 7th cat was discovered. What happened next is the stuff of legend. In 2001, just a year after finding the final cat, Racing ended their 35-year trophy drought by winning the league title. Whether by coincidence or something more sinister, many couldn't help but attribute the blame to the curse. After that, Racing's fortunes changed, and they went on to win more league titles in 2014 and 2019. Was the 7-cat curse real or just a convenient excuse for years of misfortune? Either way, its eerie timing remains one of football's strangest stories. The Aaron Ramsey curse. The Aaron Ramsey curse is one of the most eerie and widely discussed legends in modern football, especially since it gained traction on social media. Aaron Ramsey, a Welsh footballer best known for his time at Arsenal, became infamous not just for his goals, but for a strange pattern that followed whenever he found the back of the net. A famous person would die shortly after. It all began in 2009 when Ramsey scored his first goal for the Welsh national team, and hours later, Spanish sports journalist Andreas Montes passed away. From that point, the pattern seemed to grow stronger. Each time Ramsey scored, a famous person would die shortly after. In 2011, after Ramsey scored against Manchester United, Osama bin Laden was killed the very next day. After scoring against Tottenham, Steve Jobs passed away. Then 2 weeks after his goal against Tottenham, Gaddafi died a day after Ramsey scored against Marseille. The bizarre coincidences continued. Paul Walker, Robin Williams, Whitney Houston, David Bowie, Alan Rickman, the list went on, with each death seemingly linked to a Ramsey goal. For almost a decade, the curse was a subject of both fascination and dread. The superstition grew so strong that some began to associate his goals with an impending celebrity death. However, after Ramsey left Arsenal, the eerie pattern appeared to stop. But the numerous deaths coincidentally linked to his goals remain an eerie phenomenon. The Bela Guttmann curse. Bela Guttmann, a Hungarian coach, took charge of Portuguese giants Benfica in 1959. Known for his strict and uncompromising approach, Guttmann wasted no time making sweeping changes. He controversially dismissed 20 senior players, choosing instead to promote youth talents, including a young player who would become a football legend, Eusebio. Under Guttmann's leadership, Benfica flourished. In his first 2 seasons, the club clinched back-to-back league titles. But his achievements didn't stop there. Guttmann guided Benfica to their first ever European Cup triumph, defeating Barcelona in the final. For the skeptics who dismissed this as a fluke, Guttmann's team silenced the skeptics by winning the European Cup again the very next season. This time they overcame the mighty Real Madrid in a thrilling 5-3 final, cementing their place in football history. After these monumental successes, Guttmann approached the club president requesting a well-deserved pay raise. Shockingly, his request was denied. Feeling undervalued, Guttmann left the club, and according to legend, he departed with a chilling statement. Not in 100 years from now will Benfica ever be European champions again. Over 6 decades later, this so-called curse seems to hold true. Benfica has reached the European Cup final 5 times since his departure and lost every single one of them. Their dreams of Champions League glory remain elusive, with no end to the drought in sight. However, those who were close to Guttmann in Benfica insist that the curse is nothing more than a media-fueled myth. They argue that he never uttered such words when he left the club. Whether real or imagined, the story of Bela Guttmann's curse continues to haunt Benfica and intrigue football fans around the world.